Okay, so we've created our modules, and in this tutorial what I want to start talking about is adding content to these modules. So here are our modules, and you'll notice that within each of these modules we have three different buttons we can actually click. We can click the Publish button here, which will turn this gray cloud green. You always want to make sure you click on Publish if you've created content that you need to make available to your students. If you have not published the content and you haven't published the course, then your students aren't going to have access to it. We also have a plus button. This allows us to add content to the modules. And then we have this cog, which is pretty much universal throughout different things in Canvas. You're going to see this cog pretty much everywhere. So if we click on the cog, you'll notice it gives us four different options. Edit, move to so we can reorganize, delete if we want to delete the module, and then share to commons, which I'll be covering in a later tutorial. So if I click on edit, what it will allow me to do is change the name of the module, lock it, and then I can also add what are known as requirements, which we'll talk about. Okay, so let me go ahead and click X right here because we're going to discuss some of this in just a moment. Okay, but what I'd like to talk about first in this tutorial is I'd like to talk about adding content to a module. So we're going to first start by adding some content. Now, just to let you know, I have assignments, pages, and a variety of other content that I've already built so that I can show you how this works. You might not have any of this content, so you might not be ready to start adding things to your module just yet, and that's okay. As we move through this course, we're going to cover when we create an assignment or a quiz or a discussion, we're going to cover how to add that to a module. Okay? So I'm going to start by clicking the plus button. And when you do that, you're going to be met with this window, which essentially allows you to determine what kind of content you'd like to add to your module. So you'll notice you have this drop-down menu here, and if you click it, it's going to give you all of these different options: assignments, quizzes, files, a content page, which is just commonly called pages, discussions, text headers, external URLs, and external tools. And so you can choose any one of these, and when you choose one of these, it gives you all of the options you have related to that particular category. So when I click on assignments, it gives me assignments I've created. When I click on quizzes, it gives me quizzes I've created. Okay? And then below that, after you've chosen one that you want, then you get to choose the indent level. And indents are a further way of organizing content in our courses. And once you've chosen your content, once you've chosen whether you want to indent it or not, then you can choose to add it to your module. So let me go ahead and pick Assignment, Lab Report 1. I'm going to say Don't Indent, and I'm going to add this item. And that adds Lab Report 1 to Unit 1 Metric Measurement. And here's the cool thing. Once it's in one of your modules, you can then grab on this grid right here, and you can actually choose to move that content between your modules. So if I want to move this back into Unit 1 module, I just grab and drag. And beyond that, you can also organize your modules by grabbing and dragging them. So I can move Unit 2 above Unit 1 if I wanted to, or back below. Okay, so that's the basics of adding content to a module and then organizing those modules and moving content between modules, or as we're going to see, when we add more content, we can also use this to move that content within the same module. So in the next tutorial, we're going to talk a little bit more about the different types of things we can add to these modules. And then in the tutorial after that, we're going to talk a little bit more about editing some of the parameters of our modules.